which goes to show you that no matter where you are on the scale, you are balanced. You have to just find your specific part on the scale. What is balanced for you? What's going on, guys? It's your boy D, and we are back at it again with another video. Before we even get into today's topic, I got something to show y'all, man. If you guys can't read that, shout out James, the very first subscriber. I'm gonna never forget this moment ever. I'm so happy that my videos, someone out there got something out of my video and has motivated me so much more. Just keep the good vibes going, keep the videos rolling out, hopefully make a difference in somebody's life. And of course, guys, before we get into today's video, freshly rolled doink. I'm a man of magic tricks. I'm a man of many tricks in my pockets, many gadgets on my tool belt, such as making things disappear. In 3, 2, 1, just like that. Where'd it go? So today's video, we are going to be talking about sacrifice, the cost to be great. You're like, the cost to be great? Sacrifice? What do you mean? Let's get to it. So before we even start with what sacrifice is, we're gonna have to talk about what great even means. If we're going to be talking about the cost of something, what is that something? What is great? And if you do a quick Google search, you'll get of an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal or average. And the second definition, of ability, quality, or eminence, considerably above the normal or average. And in both of these definitions, you hear a specific phrase twice, which is above the normal or average. So if this is the average, you're above the standard. And my personal argument is to be able to achieve that, it is through sacrifice. But the trap is in today's society is that instead of deciding what that is, society tries to give you something to believe in. Society sets its own limits upon you, not physically, but mentally, so you don't think more of yourself. And when you don't think more of yourself, you'll do what you think is, I wouldn't call it great, but it's just your belief of what you can achieve. So to be able to overcome that mindset, it is through sacrifice. And there's certain things that you have to give up and you have to ultimately accept to be able to achieve different results. And as you focus on what you choose to focus on, there becomes a natural imbalance, because someone who's attempting to become a millionaire will focus so much on the task of making more money that they will lose out on other aspects of life naturally, because your attention can only be on one thing at a time when you're trying to do it to the best of your ability. That isn't to say that you can't do multiple things at a time, because I believe the human mind is capable of doing that. But if you're trying to do something to the very, very best of your ability, I do not think it's possible to do two things at the same time. If you want to do like a 70-30 split and then a 60-40 split, or like a 60-20-20 split, as you keep on adding things, then it could change, but you lose the potential to be you're at your very best, because then you have to split your attention into multiple pieces of the pie. Interesting quote that I heard in this one video by Taekwondo. It was, where attention flows, energy goes. And that's a very interesting quote, because I believe that to be true. Wherever you focus on something, wherever your attention is, that's where the energy will flow. Energy as in your energy, the energy of the universe, energy of life, the energy that's all around us. because this reality is made up of energy, and we just can't perceive it in that way as humans, with our natural five senses at least. An interesting metaphor that I would like to make is, imagine a scale. Imagine it could be multiple. Instead of the two scales going back and forth, it could be multiple, but let's just talk two for now. Someone who's all in on something, the scale naturally tips, but at the end of the day, it still balances itself out. Even though one's lower and one's higher, the scale itself is balanced. Which goes to show you that no matter where you are on the scale, you are balanced. You have to just find your specific part on the scale, what is balanced for you. So there's no one who could tell you whether or not you're doing the right thing besides yourself. It's all up to you to be able to determine that. And it takes a degree of honesty and clarity to be able to see that and say it to yourself properly, to be able to achieve the results you want to achieve. As I was saying, as one end tips down, another end has to go up. And what does that mean? That means on a scale, let's just say for weight, one side has to be heavier and one side is lighter. And that's why the scale tips, because it's uneven weight. And the metaphor that I like to make in my head is that weight is your attention and your focus. There's only so much attention you could and focus you could give out in a single day, and that's the limit of human, which is time. Let's just say you have 100 pounds total on the scale, which means there's 50 pounds on each side. To be able to tip the scale, you would have to take weight from one side and bring it to the other, which is your attention. So let's just say you give 25 pounds or 25% of your attention to this other side. So now this is 75 pounds and this is 25 pounds, and it'll naturally tip. So the sacrifice is the 25%, and that doesn't come from nowhere. Like the law of equivalent exchange, you have to give something for something. And that's just the reality of this world. So instead of being the average 50-50, you give something up to be something. And I'd say something, and I won't always say great, because to be great, there's also, to be the best of the best, I feel like there's also a degree of luck. That's also where I personally believe in fate, but that's a whole different conversation for another day. Let's stick to sacrifice. When you're giving something up, you're saying that you're okay to be without it. As long as you have this other thing, you're okay to not have this. That's naturally what goes in your brain. It's like you see a banana and an apple in front of you, but you can only have one, the apple or the banana, and you can pick. You sacrifice one for the other. But recently, I actually have a new theory and a new hypothesis on sacrifice. Sacrifice doesn't have to always be forever. And that's the greatest part about human and free will. You get to always change whenever you want. So, a phrase that I like to take from Alex Hormozi is season of life. Sacrifice is only a season of life. Whether or not that season could last forever is your choice. It could last a year, 5 years, 5 months, 5 minutes. It's truly up for you to decide. Again, where attention flows, energy goes. So as you reshift your attention, even if it's not a full tilt to the other direction, it could go from 75-25 to, let's just say, 60-40. It's a lot closer now. You don't have the same potential as you had at 75, but you're still focused. But you're paying attention to the small chunk now, and you're giving more effort into this other aspect of your life, which is what I have been personally working on myself. And I just think it's so fascinating, because going into this new year, I know the aspect that I want to work on the most, and I don't want to give it away yet, but I will say you guys will see it in the videos, and it's going to be a vibe. I know what I got to work on to get to that next level. And it's funny because, again, I'm a fan of Hormozi, so I'll use another with his references. In the same way a business has one weak link, a weak part of it, where if you pass it, if you fix it, it'll send you to the next level in terms of profit wise. I feel like that is the same for human capability. I know the where I'm missing right now in my personal development, and once I figure that out, I'm going to elevate myself in all aspects of my life with this one fix to get me to the next level. And it's crazy because the thesis has worked so far, but now that I'm actually conscious and aware of what I'm trying to do with my life, it's going to be interesting to see if my hypothesis works. And I feel like this is the most entertaining part about human life, because you get to choose exactly how you want to live. Test things out and see what works for you. And once you find your flow, you flow. Any martial artist would know what I mean when we talk about flow. You really get in your groove, you get in your vibe. Like, you get in your vibe, you start reacting like you've never reacted before. To achieve this flow state, in my opinion, in my theory, is you would have to find your perfect balance of your scale. So it naturally leads you to ask, what is balance? And of course, I Googled it, saving your time, and I'll read it. An even distribution of weight enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. In this case, upright and steady is very important. Are you upright and are you steady in your life? Or are you unbalanced? Are you tipping over at the slightest push? Or do you hunker down like a boulder in a storm? And of course, me being a car guy, I had to relate this instantly to cars. So there's front engine cars that most people have, where the engine is where your hood is. There's mid-engine cars, and there's rear engine cars. To be able to achieve balance in each of these three models, you have to have weights in certain areas that isn't your engine on the car. So like your chassis, aerodynamics, your body, and stuff like that, to be able to achieve balance when you're driving in the car. So a front engine car would drive different than a mid-engine car, which will drive different than a rear engine car. But what is the most interesting part about this is the idea of drifting, of steering in the chaos. And this idea of balance and chaos is crazy, because in chaos, there has to be the equal and equivalent exchange, like as we were talking about before. And this exchange in the chaos is the opportunity that it brings. So in your scale to be great, are you willing to sacrifice enough to be great and live inside chaos and turmoil to achieve your goals that you want to achieve? That is only for you to tell. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking this long in the video. If you want more, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Again, shout out James. Shout out my boy James. First follow, first subscriber. Join the fam, guys. I'll catch you later. Holla.